So today I'm starting some seeds. It's actually pretty cold and dreary outside, so it's a good day to start some more seeds. I know I showed last year, but in case anyone missed it, I really like making my tags for my seeds with this little printer here. My mother-in-law gave this to me and I love it so much. And it's waterproof, they don't wear off in the sun, and yet they peel off easily at the end of the year when I want to change them out and put different labels on them, so they're perfect. So this tray here, I'm starting some of my flowers that I will grow, and I've never grown chamomile, but I'd really like to use it. I like to use it for tea. I also think it's good for a salve, which I've never tried, but something I'm interested in. And those seeds are tiny. Then I'm going to grow sweet alyssum, which is great for beneficial insects. Provides good habitat for them. And then celosia, I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's really pretty. I grew it last year, and so I'm going to grow it again. And then I just wanted to try a little bit of this lettuce. I had seed left over from last year, so it's thrown in this tray as well. Another thing I will be starting today are my marigolds, and I love to plant those with my lettuce because I did it last year, and where I had the marigolds planted, I had no aphids at all on my lettuce, and where I didn't have marigolds, I had aphid problems. So I'm going to grow lots of marigolds this year and plant them everywhere I think I'm going to have a problem with aphids or insects. So I think I did start some other lettuce, some romaine lettuce, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to prick out these bell peppers that I started. Actually, I have several varieties of peppers, and I'm going to pot them into these trays now that they have germinated. I got all my seeds started, and now I am making signs or labels for my fruit trees that I have planted. And I ordered these because I wanted something that was pretty permanent, that's going to stay by the trees for a long time, not go anywhere, and so I can just look at it and know exactly what variety of tree I have. So I have my shipping label, so I know what all the trees are, and then I have a little grid I drew out whenever I planted the trees, and so I'll put these with the right trees, and hopefully, because they're pretty intense, hopefully they will last a long time. And while I'm doing that, I sit here and I watch other homesteaders on my phone, because it is wonderful to learn from what other people are doing, get ideas. Sometimes you learn what you don't want to do, and a lot of times you're inspired with what you see. And so I thought I would share this process. It's time for potatoes. I have 3 different varieties here, 25 pounds of each. I got these from Johnny's Seeds. And I'm looking, okay, this one's my dark red Norland. This one is my Russet. And this one is my Yukon Gold. So now I'm going to cut them into probably 3 pieces each, maybe 4, depending on how many eyes there are. And I am not going to chip them this year. I'm not going to let them sprout any more than they already are. I tried it last year. I didn't see any improvement in the amount of potatoes I got, so just going to cut them up, let them scab over, heal over, probably overnight, and hopefully get them in the ground tomorrow or the next day. Okay, that process made quite a bit of a mess. Here we have the Yukon Golds ready to go. We have the dark red Norlands ready to go. And we have the Caribou Russet ready to go. So that was a big project. It'll be a bigger project to plant them tomorrow or the next day. So this day it was really windy in the garden and you can't hear anything because the wind's so loud on the camera. But we did get our potatoes planted, and then we had to repair our irrigation system so that we could water the things that we planted in the garden. This row has potatoes in it, so we wanted to fix this one. It got chopped when we had our hydrant put in. So here we just cut out the bad parts, and then we use this little piece that joins two ends of the drip tape together, and it's good as new. You can see how windy it is this day when we look at our strawberry bed and how it's moving that row cover. You can see all the little holes that have slowly been made in that row cover because of the wind over the winter and this spring. And I'm getting really excited to uncover these strawberries. It's gonna have to happen here in the next day or two. You can see that we are watering them. It is so much warmer underneath that row cover than it is out in the open air. And everything under there, the weeds and the strawberries included, are quite a bit more advanced than everything else around. We're going to peek under there and see what we can see today. As we peek under the row cover, you can see some of the strawberries. They're quite a bit ahead from our other strawberries in other places that are not under the row cover. There's some that are growing fine, and then there are some places where they're missing, or some places where they have just barely started to grow. And so it's really nerve-wracking to think about what we're going to find when we take all of this row cover off and we can see the whole thing. So as we get the irrigation system running for the first time this spring, we have to troubleshoot and solve problems. I think that's what we do all the time in the garden. And so here, this hose is simply blown off the end connector here. So we just have to shut off the water, our little valves here, and then we just put it back on and twist it on there tighter, and then we'll be good to go. This Easter Sunday, we are so excited to be able to pick a fresh spinach salad to go with our lunch after church. And my little one loves fresh spinach from the garden, and so she wanted to be the one to help pick this salad for our lunch. It was very tasty. We are getting ready to uncover these strawberries. It's quite warm today. That sun is very hot and bright, and we want to give the strawberries a chance to cool off actually, because it's really hot under there. And then we're going to leave them uncovered probably until they bloom, and then we'll only cover them if it's going to get below freezing while they have blooms on them. So join us to see what they look like. This is really exciting and really nerve-wracking at the same time for me. Okay, so we just finished uncovering them, and some of them look really, really good and are growing strong. And then some holes are completely missing. But I would say overall, we probably have about 75% of what we planted. So that's not as good as we would have liked it to be. We know that the coons pulled out some in the fall. We know the rabbits nibbled on a lot. We know we had children help plant, and not all of them were planted the way they maybe should have been, but there was no way we could have done it by ourselves, so we're really glad to have their help even if they didn't all make it. So now we'll just kind of walk our rows and see what we've got, and hopefully they really start taking off here in the next few weeks. And some of them look like they could send up blooms anytime now, and other ones maybe just starting out. So as they runner, we'll try to fill in these holes so that the next year we have better success and a better harvest. But this is all we have this year to work with, so we have to work with it. Like, look here at this spot, and they look pretty good. We've got not very many missing in that area, and then there are some places where we're missing a lot more. So it is what it is. That's part of farming, especially our first year planting this many June bearing strawberries and planting them in the fall. So we have things to learn, things to work on going forward. Okay, so just 2 days ago I was out here and I didn't notice any asparagus up, and now it's here. So the spinach beat it just by a couple days. We should have asparagus very soon, actually, looking at these over here. That plant is too young to pick. Those are too thin, but they're really tall. I see one back there that's tall. I see some of our fatter ones coming up. So that's exciting.